I'm Ashley from Through the Loop Yarn Craft, and today we are going to make the Galloway Beanie. The Galloway Beanie was inspired by the fingerless mitts I made previously, the Galloway fingerless gloves, and I just loved the ribbing stitch in those gloves so much, I decided that it definitely needed to be a beanie as well. This beanie is made as a rectangle and then seamed up the side and closed the top for that beanie look. It's easy to adjust for whatever size you're looking for, and you can use the fold up brim or not, depending on the look you like. I've used Knit Pick City Tweed Aran heavyweight yarn for this beanie, and I love the classic fall vibes it gives off with the tweed yarn for this beanie. You'll also need a 5mm crochet hook, scissors, yarn needle, and a pom-pom if you'd like. For this video, we will be making the adult small version, which fits a head circumference of about 20 to 22 inches. And if you'd like to get the other sizes, the premium PDF also comes in toddler, child, adult small, adult medium, and adult large. You can find the free written version of the adult small size as well over on my blog, which is linked below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button to let me know that you enjoy the tutorials and that you love the Galloway Beanie as much as I do. So let's grab our supplies and get down to it. So for the adult small size, we will begin with a chain of 41, and the chain length in this pattern determines the height of the hat. So however long your chain or rows are going to be is the height of your hat. So let's chain 41. So there I have my 41 chains. And now we are going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So we're not counting the one on our hook. There's the one from the hook and the second one from the hook. And now we will half double crochet in each chain across for a total of 40 half double crochets. All right, so there we have 40 half double crochet across, and now we will chain 1 and flip for row 2. Now row 2 is our repeat row, which means what we do in row 2 we will do for the remainder of the rows for the rest of the pattern. And this is where the fun stitch comes in. It's called the half double crochet in the third front loop, and if you've made the Galloway fingerless gloves, you're familiar with this stitch, and it should be a breeze because the rest of the pattern is just that stitch for as many rows as you need. But if you haven't, let's go through the steps here and you can see for yourself how awesome this stitch is. So we'll start with the basics here. And if you know this part, go ahead and skip if you need to. But we've got our V's at the top of the stitches, which are the normal 2 that we go under. These 2 right here. And then we have the back loop and just the front loop. And then with the half double crochet, you also have the third back loop, which is this one right here. a little tight in there. So that's the third back loop there. And we have the front third loop. And that's the loop that we're going to be using for this stitch. So now that we've chained one, we're going to insert our hook into the front, well, yarn over and insert our hook into the third front loop. So we're just going to go through that one there, yarn over again, bring up our loop and finish that stitch. And we are going to do that in each stitch across. So yarn over, and here's, I know we're normally used to holding our work this way. This stitch is helpful to kind of hold on the side too. It makes it a little easier to get into that loop there, through that front loop, yarn over, and pull up. This stitch gives such nice texture and ridging on the opposite side, and as you get through a few rows, you'll definitely see that. So yarn over, third front loop, and let's just continue that across for a total of 40 stitches. And for the last stitch, we're just going to go into this loop here of the chain. So the last stitch will look like that. Now we will chain one and flip for row 3. And as you can see, even with just the 2 rows, some of that texture is starting to come to life. So as I mentioned previously, row 3 and all the rows after that are just going to be repeats of row 2. For the adult small, I did 45 rows to get a length of 18 inches, and that 18 inches will be the circumference of the hat to fit a 20 to 22 inch head size. So if you need it a bit bigger or you think it's gonna be too big or small, feel free to adjust those number of rows to the perfect fit for whomever you're making the hat for. This is a super adjustable beanie pattern, which makes it great for anybody in your household or whoever you're making it for. So let's start row 3. We will yarn over again and go through that third front loop and finish off that stitch. So just go ahead and continue on, and I will meet you right back here after I've completed the 45 rows. There we are, completing the last stitch of my 45th row. And there we are. So I will just slip stitch there, grab my scissors, and finish that off. So there we have the finished fabric rectangle. And now we are going to fold that in half and line those sides up. So you do have two options for seaming these sides shut. You can use your hook and slip stitch across, and if you prefer to do it that way, or you can use your needle and whip stitch it across. I prefer the whip stitch for this because I find the seam doesn't feel quite so bulky. So for this tutorial, I will show you the whip stitching across. So we'll just grab our yarn needle and thread that long tail through. And if you are going to do the whip stitch instead of the slip stitching across, it is good to leave a nice long tail. So we will just bring our ends together and insert your needle through both sides and go all the way through. And then we will just bring our yarn over, go to the other side there, and we pull that nice and snug, and we'll just repeat that all the way across. And there we are. So we've got that seamed all the way across. And as you can see with the whip stitch, it's a nice, simple, clean join. So now we will actually flip this inside out. And there we go. So now we will close the top of the hat. So continuing with our long tail and yarn needle, we are going to weave around the top stitches here. So we're just going to go through the top and pull through and just go back and forth all along. Every once in a while, I like to pull tight and start the gather. And it doesn't quite matter if we go through the top of each row or every other row. I just kind of mix it up once in a while. You just don't want too big of gaps between them because then it'll leave some holes in the top of your hat. So continue that all the way around. go, right back to where we began. And then we are going to pull that nice and tight. And then we're going to, holding that nice and tight, we're going to weave through the top to hold that nice and closed. Pulling it nice and tight. And you just want to go through 3 or 4 times. Great. And there we go. Now you have your beanie, and you can leave it as is. Flip up the brim. And if you want to add a pom-pom, now would be the time that you want to add the pom-pom before you tie off. So my pom-pom has one of the elastics attached to it. So we're going to sew on a button. There are the pom-poms that have the clip clasps like this one, and this is also the time you'd want to add that. So what I'm going to do for this type of button pom-pom, I'm just gonna poke my yarn needle through right there and then flip my hat inside out because I want to attach my button on the inside of my hat. You can do it on the outside if you prefer. I like the inside. Get that needle through there. And just go ahead and sew that pom-pom button on. I try and make it as centered as I can. Put that through the other way. And back again. And one more. Now I'm going to pull it through one more time because I want to finish this off on the inside of the hat. Okay, so I've got the button on there. Now I'm going to poke back through one more time just on the side of the button. And pull that nice and tight, secure that button, and then I'm going to weave in my ends from here. And then we will just flip it back right side out. Now to get the pom-pom on, what I'm going to do is, with my crochet hook, come inside the hat and as close to the button as possible, poke my hook through. Then I'm going to grab on to that elastic and pull it through. And then we will just link it around the button. And that's attached. And that is how I attach those pom-poms. And there you have it. Just finished weaving on all the starting end and you are done. Thank you so much for joining me today and making the Galloway Beanie. I hope you love it as much as I do. I have been wearing this one the last week or so since we've been getting some colder weather, and it has helped keep me nice and toasty in my chilly office. If you like this video, please do subscribe and hit that like button to let me know. You'll also be notified when I have new videos and tutorials out. If you would like to follow along with the free written pattern, you can find that over on the Through the Loop Yarncraft blog. You can also buy the PDF printed premium version with all 5 sizes on Etsy or Ravelry, and all of that will be linked below. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye!